Matto speaking. Hope you're well today. So we have a countdown, as you may notice, and one of the things I never ever knew was what happens when the countdown gets down to 0. And so I would always switch it off just before it got down to 0. So I just tried it then. I let it count down to 0 to see what would happen, and it shows me, and then I press the button and it started to count down again. So that was quite funny. Anyway, welcome everybody. It is not Monday, it's Wednesday, but this is a business growth show. We're going to talk about marketing, as we always should be doing on Monday, even though it's a Wednesday today. I'm so far behind on going live, but we are putting things in place. The studio downstairs in the basement is being worked on as we speak. Painting going on, soundproofing going on, lights, positioning of where everything goes. It's a bloody nightmare, I'll be honest with you. But in this session today, we're going to do this outside, and it's nice and warm. We're in a t-shirt again. Thank you for living in Spain. I know a lot of people are stuck in with the snow and all of that kind of thing, so I apologize if this is kind of rubbing you up a little bit, but we live in Spain. What can we do? In this session, I want to talk to you about making or stop making some of the mistakes that I see some people making in their marketing in 2021. The way that we market this year is different than the way that we marketed the year before, and the way that we've marketed 5 years before that, and 10 years before that, and 20 years before that. But there are also some bits there that are going to remain constant with your marketing, like the messaging. The way that you need to build rapport with people through your marketing before you should sell something. And most people don't do this. And so what happens is that most people, they run some marketing, and the marketing basically says, hey, come and buy my stuff. And so that's it. They have a link back to the website, not even to the product that they're trying to sell, but to the homepage. And they just assume people will pick up the phone and give me 20 of whatever it is that you're selling. And it just doesn't happen in such a way. So you've got to be a bit more clever about it. And in this session, I just want to cover some of that. We've probably got about 15 or 20 minutes. I've got a delivery arriving. But I just want to run through that. We'll put it on the board. And if you've got any questions, just stick them in the comment section. And I'll keep an eye on that, hopefully. That should help. Okay, so the first thing that I see that people are doing wrong is that they are, well, first of all, we're not doing anything. Okay, let's just cover that one, right? Like nothing at all. Like they exist. They're sat at home right now. They've got a business. It doesn't matter what the business is. Let's say they sell cheaper gas and electricity. You know the companies that I mean. Awful. Futility warehouse, as I call them, because they're so bad. But they're sat at home and they're trying to work out, how do I get my message out? And so they're sat at home and they're on Facebook, and they're literally on Facebook waiting for somebody to message them in the hope that they might want what they're selling, okay? And it just doesn't work like that. You've got to get out there into the marketplace so that people can actually see you exist. They know who you are, they know what you do. And if you sat at home on Twitter looking at the news, and I do this as well, by the way, I go from Twitter to Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn. I come straight off LinkedIn because it's spam city. It's ridiculous. The business is not just going to attract itself to you. That's not how this stuff works. You've got to get out there in front of as many people as you can, because broken down into its most basic elements, marketing is simply the idea of getting as many eyeballs onto you, your product or service or your business as possible. At its very most basic, that's what marketing is. And sitting there at home hoping something's going to come through on Twitter is not going to be the thing that makes your business sell anymore or for you to get well known. Okay, so that's the first mistake. And if you're wondering, well, what can I do? So let's have this as doing now, and have this one as to do, and I'll check to make sure you can see this in a minute. There we go. This looks like we actually know what we're doing, doesn't it? It looks very very organized. Okay, so instead of doing nothing, what can you do? Okay, and stick them in the chat box, by the way. This is supposed to be the interactive part of the of the live. So instead of doing nothing, what could you do? There's a couple of things that you could do. You could go live, like we are doing right now. There are a number of people watching. We then take this live, we convert it into a podcast. We'll get maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people that download that. It then goes on to YouTube where it's live and people can then watch the replay. It might get 1,000, 2,000 on that. It then goes on Facebook. It goes into groups. We then embed it on our website. So we take this live and then we're posting it out so people can continually see us. The next one that you could do is to write something. So we tested this and it works really well. And I've not done it for a while, actually. And it's something I definitely need to be doing more of. But the engagement spikes massively when you do this one thing, okay? Which is write something long form about something that you feel powerful about, or something you feel not powerful, but something you feel strongly about. Write something. The long form, you know, it can be about tenants. I wrote one about tenants maybe a month ago, and it got loads of likes, loads of engagement, and it was talking about crap tenants basically, and about how hard it is sometimes to find good tenants and the quality of tenants that come through. And actually, it's something I'm dealing with right now. But writing something, what you're doing is you're taking the thoughts that you've got in your head and you're putting them down, not on paper, but onto Facebook, and then you're sharing that, and people will respond to that. And the reason why someone might respond to something written down rather than something that they have to watch live or even a pre-recorded video is that, look, think about how are people consuming content in 2021, okay? Where do people use their mobile phones? What place do they have with 2 to 3 minutes sat down with nothing else to do, right? Basically, they're sat on the toilet. That's what I'm getting at. They're sat on the toilet, right? So now I'm not saying that everyone's reading your stuff while sat on the toilet, but some people are. Some people are stood at bus stops. Some people are in the tube. Some people are passengers in cars on a long journey. Most people in February 2021 are stuck at home with nothing else to do, and they've put the kettle on. And I do this. I read stuff while I'm putting a kettle on. I listen to my Audible books while I'm doing the washing up. I'm listening to Wolf of Wall Street and not the book, but his Jordan Belfort's training on straight line persuasion right now. It's only taken me 6 months to get through the book because I only listen to it while I'm doing the washing up. But people consume content in completely different ways, and you've got to match the type of content that you're creating to the type of ways that people are consuming the content. Because if all you do is go live, you're assuming that everybody is going to watch you go live. And I think that assumption's really dangerous. Good morning, Chris. Can see just fine. Wonderful. Hope you're well today. So you've got to match your content onto doing different things. Okay, so let's say live write something. The next one I would put is record something. Like I did 2 videos yesterday. I was driving, so I pressed record. I'm driving around and I'm recording, so that's fine. I've also went to the beach hut on the beach because it was a really nice day yesterday, and I did some videos in 4K on a fancy camera, and that might come out later on. I've not decided on that yet. Okay, so this is what are you doing now? This is you doing nothing. This is what you can do. What if you're doing some things right now? So let's just say that you're going live. What else can we do? No, let's just say we're going live for now. Let's say that you're actually going live. What else could you do here? Okay, and we mentioned it up here, some of the things that we do. So, so let me just put an arrow here to MP3. That's the dog just scratching. You can hear the collar. So if you're going live on your videos right now, you need to find a way to convert your live onto an MP3. And then you could upload it to, say, SoundCloud. The other thing that you could do is embed it on your website, and then you can share that. It's some of the stuff that we alluded to up here. Share all. That's the other thing that you could be doing right now. If you are already going live, and remember, this is what I say, going live is like the glue between all your other marketing. So, like, the way that we do it with our clients is we create an awful lot of content. We create images, we create videos, we create written copy, we send them to a landing page and so on and so forth. But the thing that we find really works, in addition to all that stuff, and we send out a lot of stuff for people, is that when they actually go live, the magic actually happens. And most people don't do that. They just do, videos or images, like pre-recorded videos. It's the live aspect. And let's just talk about that for a second. Why, when people are going live, is that getting better results for people? Now, I want to clarify, it's not just going live that gets you better results, and it's not just creating images and videos that gets you better results. It's all of that that gets you better results. And it's because when you go live, you are building a couple of things here. The first one is authenticity. People want to see who you are. Like if you speak to me on the phone, I am just like this. I sound like this. I'm a northern monkey. I look like this. I'm exactly what you see in person. In fact, one of the best compliments I ever got, I was on stage, I was speaking to 1,000 people, whatever it was, and somebody said, "Oh, it's just like he is in real life." It was a bit confusing to me, because how else would I be? But going live helps you build authenticity. It also helps you build trust, massive amounts of trust. Because again, if I get you on the phone, or you get me on the phone, like if you've watched my lives, you're going to trust me already. You already know I'm authentic, and it also builds honesty as well, by the way. Now, let me tell you what happens. If you're trying to sell something, let's say you're trying to sell a coaching product, and you've gone live, and you get someone on a strategy call, and you ask that person, "Hey, Bob, have you seen my lives?" Yeah, I've seen your lives. "Have you listened to my podcast?" "Yeah, of course I have." "Yes, of course." If I go through a close on Bob's signing up. I know that probably 80%, maybe 90% of the time. However, if I ask Bob, "Hey, Bob, have you listened to any of my podcasts?" "No." "Okay. Have you watched any of my videos?" "No, I've not seen any." First of all, I'm wondering, where's Bob come from? How does he know I even exist, and why is he filled in a form? And the second thing I know is that if I go and ask Bob to close, to buy something from me on that live call, on a strategy session call, he's not buying, right? And the reason he's not buying is because he doesn't know my authenticity, he doesn't trust me, and he doesn't think I'm honest, or he doesn't know how honest I am. Okay, and so this bit right here, this is the secret sauce, and that's why that's the secret sauce, is because it builds honesty, trust, and authenticity. Is that making sense, by the way? Give me a yeehaw in the comment box if this makes sense. Nobody ever puts stuff in the comment box, by the way. I don't know why that is. So if you are doing these things, like if you're doing nothing, this is what you should be doing, and if you're doing some of the stuff, then this is what you should be doing as well. But there's a second aspect to this, because marketing, the very first basic element of marketing, is to get recognized and get known and be in front of as many eyeballs as possible. Okay, that's the very first thing that you need to be doing as a business owner, is putting yourself in front of as many people as you can. Okay, but that's not good enough. It's 2021. In the olden days, 1990s, we could probably do that. Direct response marketing worked so well. Okay, these days it doesn't work as well, and the reason it doesn't work as well is that people need to see you like 20 odd times before they even begin to trust you. Okay, so that's another reason why you've got to be putting out as much content. But then also what's happening is, and so you've got here Facebook. These are social media platforms. You've got LinkedIn, you've got Twitter, you've got Insta, and you've got, give me another one, Pinterest. Let's use that one. I was going to say Clubhouse. I'm not on Clubhouse. Oh, in fact, we got some yeehaws. Thank you. And Chris got us a yerba. Thank you very much, Chris. So, I'll get rid of that. So, these are your social marketing channels, okay? When you're going live and you're putting content out, you're putting content on each one of these, okay? Now, what you should also be doing when you go live is you should have, and I noticed, by the way, I've not got a link, but we've got branding up here, up at the top. So we've got Funnel Experts, we've got the logo in just here to your website. And the Funnel Experts website is not my main website. It's another website that we own just for funnels and creating funnel experts and that kind of thing. But when we go live, what you should be doing is you should be having calls to actions so that this goes back to your website. And it's not just your homepage on a website. It's like, what's the next offer? What's the next thing that you should be offering? Like, what's the next step? And you should always be selling the next step. Oh, some of these would be iTunes as well, by the way. iTunes spelled wrong. Don't know how it's possible to spell iTunes wrong, but it is. because you've got podcasting and that kind of thing. But you should be having a call to action. And the call to action, let me just get rid of that website, because I want to change that a little bit. It might be a website, or it might be a group. I like sending people into my mastermind group on Facebook. This should really be an offer of some kind. Ideally, it's an offer. Like, and we've not done it on this, because these, by the way, are educational kind of lives. And this is, let me just redo this completely, actually, because this is the thing that you've got to decide. I've got no intention of selling anything on these sessions, okay? So let me just change this, because this will depend on what you're trying to do. So there's probably maybe 3 different ones. So one is you're trying to educate, and what happens when you're educating your audience is that, well, a couple of things, okay? One, they get authenticity. Again, they get trust. They get honesty. They get authority, because now you're the expert. This is why you should be going live. So this is what you should be aiming for. You should be aiming to educate someone. You should be sending someone to an offer, depending on what this live happens to be. Now, if every single time you go live, or every single time you're posting, you're just sending them to an offer, you're going to scare everybody off. Nobody wants to be sold to all the time. People hate to be sold, but they love to buy, okay? And when people buy, think about your buyer. Like, does your buyer know what they're buying? Have they researched what they're going to be buying? Of course they have, right? Now, if your job is there to educate them, you're building authority, trust, and honesty and authority all at the same time, who do you think they're then going to buy from? It's you, because you've educated them whilst at the same time building all this rapport. Now, I'm not saying that you never offer, because you can go and offer, but you should maybe let people know when you're going live, hey guys, I'm going to teach you a little bit on this product. I'm going to teach you about what happens when you do this. And at the end of that, stay to the end, I'm going to make you an offer that you're going to love, and that hopefully some of you are going to take advantage of and sign up. So like, you can pre-frame it so people know there's going to be an offer. And by the way, some people will stay to the end to wait and see what the offer is. And usually the point at which they jump off is as soon as you've told them the price, which is why you never tell them the price until the very end. And that's when you keep people on. But this is not what we're doing here. This one here is this one right here. My job right here is to educate people. Now the final bit here is like a sales page. Now, your offer, by the way, could be a strategy session. It just depends what it is. Think about the type of Facebook adverts that you've seen, or the type of content that's going out. So you're scrolling down Facebook and you come across something like this live, okay? And now we're in the education phase, okay? And then after this finishes, and you're going to stay to the end, aren't you? After this finishes, you're scrolling through and you're going to see, you know, something for holidays. And that's an offer. This is a demonstration. Now, if all you see is an offer, by the way, like let's say you see an offer for, you know, those igloos that are in Norway and you can sleep under the stars in like a clear see-through igloo, and it's to see the northern lights in Norway in the middle of the night. So like, if you saw an offer for that, you might go, that looks interesting, but if you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't be that interested. But if you'd educated yourself and you found, wow, I've seen these, they look amazing, and then you're on Facebook and then it pops up, you're much more likely to buy because you're now pre-educated about it. Now, you still might not buy that day, and so you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, but because you've been on that landing page, they know you've been on a landing page and haven't bought, they might then make you another offer, but then take you directly to a sales page for 20% off. So you can see how this progresses. But again, people have to know that you exist, because you can't educate people if nobody's following you. If nobody's watching your YouTube videos or downloading your podcasts, or no one's in, what's the word? Not integrating, what's the word? If no one's engaging, that's the word, on your social media feeds, then you're not going to be able to do any of these different things. And so the way in which we do this is you've got to educate people, be entertaining. And by the way, when you educate, you've got to educate and entertain both at the same time. And there's a balance between, is it over entertaining or over educating? Is there no entertainment? Is there no education in there? And so if you think about some of the things that you're watching on social media that you actually engage with, it's a mixture between education and entertainment. I signed up for some training last week with a chap who shall remain nameless. And it's probably nobody you've ever heard of, by the way. And it's training for video ads and that kind of thing. His video ad was one of the best video ads I've ever seen. And his offer was like 50 quid a month. And I'm like, God, that's just a no-brainer. We signed up straight away. It might even be $50, I don't know. But for me, that was absolutely spot on. So the quality of the advert was highly entertaining and also educational at the same time. So you need a good mix of those. So in terms of where you are on this, if you're sat at home right now, you need to have a think about, what can I go live about? And so I tasked one of my team members, Ed, who may even be watching right now, to come up with a list of different things that we could podcast about, but we could go live about. And I'm just so busy right now with buying businesses and so on, we've not had enough opportunity to actually go live as often as I would like. And so that's why we're going live now on a Wednesday, not a Monday. Anyway, so you've got to write a list of things that you could go live about. What can you record a video about? If you're in the car and you pull over and you press record, what are you going to talk about? If you're walking to the beach or you're walking the dogs. I made $5,000 off walking the dog one day. Okay, it was a video. It had 173 views. A guy was doing some searching. He was looking for a coach. My video popped up where I'm walking the dog and the dog's going to the toilet in the background. He signed up on the Saturday night. We had a strategy session Sunday morning, and by 11 a.m., $5,000 was in the bank account. Like that, I knew what I was going to talk about on the session. I can't remember what the subject was, and this was like 4 or 5 years ago now. But I knew what I was going to talk about because I had a list written down of what I was going to talk about, and then I just went and recorded the video when I was doing something else, which is walking a blooming dog. But you've got to have a list, and you've got to be prepared, and you've got to have the equipment. There's nothing worse than a really shaky camera going all over the place. You know, get yourself either a tripod like we're filming on here, or a gimbal so that it keeps the camera nice and steady, like a steady cam. But you've got to prepare the content in advance and know what it is that you're actually going to talk about. All right, that will do it for today. Hope you guys find that useful. I'm on a client call in 6 minutes. And we've got a chap arriving in the next couple of minutes who's going to help me with the downstairs YouTube studio. I call it a YouTube studio. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. I'm sure it probably won't be because I'm dreadful at that kind of thing. But anyway, we'll see where it goes. We're probably live again this afternoon. We're going to talk about property. So it gives me a chance to catch up with my lives that I'm late with. But other than that, I hope you guys stay well. Hope you stay safe. And we'll catch up with you on the next session. My name's Dan Latto. Take care.